idea how successful censorship is on TV? Don't know the answer? Successful, isn't it?
Hey everybody, it is John. I'm back. It's the Prepared Mind channel, and it's a special Thursday edition of the Friday Free for All. We're going to start right out with the show. I want your guys' thoughts, questions, comments, predictions, observations, everything down in the comments now. As stated, I've got some surgery going on tomorrow, which means, well, no painkillers or drugs and no alcohol. So I'm going au natural, and it hurts. Everything hurts. I want to thank everyone for the well wishes. Thank you, Rudy. Thank you, Orlando. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, John. Thank you. Thank you, Ooman, of course. We're here right now, and I'm good until the old ribs tell me it's time to stop. So let's get your questions in first. I've got a bunch of stuff I've read up. I've kept up on what's happening, but I'm mostly interested in you guys. Now, tomorrow I'll be gone. No Zero Dark, no regular Friday, but I'm hoping to be recovered well enough for the Sunday Night Live. There is some crazy, and I mean some crazy shit going on. I do have some news I want to share with you right off the bat while your questions are being put in the comments section for Mr. Ooman. And for those of you who aren't watching this live is the best. Sunday Night Live is live for everybody. That's why we call it the Zoo. That's a YouTube, and then our other YouTube channel, and then let's see, thepreparedmind.club, and of course, subscribe, starting a comment. Ooman's X channel. Whew. Already stiff. Anyways, that's the usual. But right now, if you want to be live Monday through Friday, all you've got to do is go to thepreparedmind.club. And be a funder, a contributor to the Gorilla Premium channel. So right now, though, I want to start off with a little bit of news that I've got. Well, I've got some first and some secondhand news. I've got to be careful, though, to keep the names and faces of the innocent preserved and anonymous. So number one, I know somebody who is in Minneapolis, has been in Minneapolis since, well, for 40 freaking years. And this guy is, if you were to look at him, you wouldn't know if he was a Republican or Democrat, but he's a conservative, flag-waving American. And it's pretty risky, pretty dangerous. He says there's a lot of crazy talk and stupid that he's hearing out there. It's very dangerous, and it looks like it's going to escalate, according to some of the things he said. I'm just kind of interpreting a little. And now the second bit of news does have to do with Minneapolis, but it's coming from a very close associate of mine who is a member of federal/law enforcement, federal/prisons, federal/riot control. And that news is that they, the feds, not ICE, not the Department of Homeland Security proper, but through the Department of Homeland Security, they have been training to go to Minneapolis and other areas around the country where there are riots. They've been training to deal with crowds, to understand the public, and they have also been training with new crowd control weapons that these insurrectionists, and when I say insurrectionists, I mean they are insurrectionists. This is a color revolution. It is a communist revolution. It is an anti-American revolution, and they're trying to get it started in Minneapolis so they can spread it across the country, just like they did with St. George Floyd when he said, "I can't breathe." They're trained, and they are also on standby deployment. So there are people who have been told, you're getting the call, get to the airport, you're going to Minneapolis. They are to have their bags packed and ready to roll, kind of like a military special ops deployment, right? There's no time. You don't get to go around and visit all your family and have one more dinner. It's get your ass to the airport, get on a plane, we're putting you in the game. So this person I know has not gotten that call, but they've been told, if you get the call, There's no calling in sick. There's no avoiding it. You're just getting on a plane and you're flying to Minneapolis. Things could get louder and ugly. It is my understanding also that somewhere the president of the United States, President Trump, somewhere is going to have some sort of announcement to make. In addition to the so-called, we're now going to finally audit the Federal Reserve. I don't know if I want to believe that one or not. I'm sorry, not audit the Federal Reserve, audit Fort Knox, the gold supply. And there's a lot going on, folks, out in the world. Let's see what you want to talk about, though. We do have a lot. What the hell is that? All kinds of stuff. Yankee Watchdog has great news to announce. Our hero in the grave, St. George Floyd, has been free of drug use for over 5 years. That's great news that St. George Floyd is free of drug use. Now, the other good part about that, get this. St. George Floyd, who is a convicted felon, a lifelong career criminal, for the past 5 years has not committed a single crime. Now, while a lot of crime has been committed in his name, he himself, St. George Floyd, has given up crime. He's given up drugs, and his condition has not worsened any. His legacy has not improved. But that being said, I'm proud of the man. No more drugs, no more crime. Mr. Uman, like I said, I want to try and keep everything coming from the crowd. You just give me the, point at me if you want me to go with my stuff. Otherwise, we'll go with you. There we go. Mr. Uman does have something. He says, I can't believe how they're spinning the ventilated retard story, only showing parts of videos praising how much he was such a good guy and not even mentioning his parents said he was acting strangely. Okay. When we talk about the retard story, ventilated, we're talking about the nurse in Minneapolis who was cold-blooded killed. The media claims, the left claims, the retards, all these, right? That he was executed by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. First off, Nurse Pretti was his name, Pretti. Well, however the hell you pronounce that. He's been made to look more masculine because artificial intelligence programs were used to take his skinny, sallow, undernourished face and make him look healthy and normal. Okay, he was allegedly a cross-dresser, a wannabe trans. He lost his shit. He lost his job. He's not a nurse. He hasn't been employed. His parents came out and said, we don't know what happened to him. Months ago, he started acting different, weird, erratic, not the same. Sounds to me like some kind of a cult got a hold of him. And yeah, he's acting strangely. Yeah, apparently. Now, videos are out. He wasn't a good guy. He was on the scene, and he was shoving and pushing. He kicked an Immigration and Customs Enforcement vehicle and kicked the taillight out of it. These people are dangerous. I don't see any right-wingers out there kicking police cars and getting in shoving matches with law enforcement. Remember, he brought a gun. And I actually got in an interesting argument last night. Someone said it matters that it was a military-style pistol. I said it does not matter. Would the police have treated him any differently if he pulled out a revolver? No. Would the police have reacted any differently if he pulled out like a 25 caliber Jennings Saturday Night Special? The answer is no. A gun is a gun. It doesn't matter how many rounds of ammunition. You are as big a threat with a small pistol as any other because they don't know how many magazines you have. They don't know if the gun is even loaded. They don't have time to check. They don't wait for the first shot to go off before they go, oh, okay, that is a real gun. It's not a toy. It does have ammunition in it because he just shot one of us. They don't play that fucking game. They don't make the distinction between military style anything, right? What if he pulled out a shotgun? Would they go, oh, that's just a hunting thing. That's just for ducks and bunnies. He's not going to shoot us. They don't care. They don't care. But, you use your firearms. be it a rifle, a shotgun, a handgun. You use that for self-defense. And I saw a video today of a man. He was in like a little tiny car, like a Yugo, at an intersection. And a bunch of jackasses ran out and started beating on his car and trying to pull the door open. Lo and behold, the man, and I thought his reaction time was a little slow, but he pulled out an AK with a folding stock, and everyone scattered. He got out of the car, made sure they were chased out of the road, and other drivers could proceed. Brought an AK for self-defense, and it worked. The personal property damage ended immediately. The damage to his privately owned vehicle, which was damaged by these jackasses, it stopped immediately. Nobody was shot. Nobody was killed. Nobody was beat. The only one I cared about was the guy in the car not being beaten, not being killed. His property not completely fucking destroyed and made useless. That is what a gun will do for you when properly used for self-defense. Going to a riot or a potential riot, calling it a protest, going to interfere with, right? Oh, this reminds me of the story of the person who lives up in Minnesota who told me on the QT his roommate is one of these psychotic leftists, and he just plays very calm, very quiet, very cool, but he listens in on the stupid, wild, crazy shit they're saying. And I'm sure law enforcement knows all they have to do is, well, go to social media websites and listen to what the left is saying. But my compadre there was telling me, yeah, they are fucking nuts. And they're planning to get bigger and louder and more violent. Anyways, you up there in Minnesota, and I'm not talking about Heidi. I'm not talking about Nancy. I'm talking about a dude who is in the thick of it. I mean, he is in the thick of it. Said something about First Street. Okay, let's continue if we shall. It is the special Thursday edition of the Friday Free-for-All, and I want to know what's on your mind. Mr. Ooman, who's up next? And it's Mikey G. He says, now they are predicting $1,000 an ounce silver. Ooman, can you keep an eye out for this? Mikey, who? Give me a name, please. And I'll talk about silver while we're waiting for that name. 1,000 ounce silver. I remember hearing that 8 years ago. I believe it was Lynette Zhang, up to 8 years ago, was saying silver could be 1,000 ounces. Of course, you know, when I bought my first little box and I had like some silver, I was like, oh my God, you know, $1,000 an ounce, that'd be great. You know, I was like 1,000 times 20 is 20,000. I'm rich. You know, it was great. It was a great feeling to know that it could go to that, but it didn't move. And it didn't move, and it didn't move, and it didn't move, and it moved a little bit in 2020 and 2020. Oh, China guy. Okay, Asian guy, the artificial intelligence guy. Okay, I'll continue. The idea was to get above the $50 mark, which had been hit twice in 1981 of all times, and then in 2011, 40 years later. Is it 40 years later? 30 years later. In any event, wow, and here we are 15 years after that. Was it Keith Neumeyer, who is the CEO of Majestic First Silver Mine, Silver Mining Corporation. It's a 100% pure silver play mine based out of Mexico. He's been calling for triple-digit silver, which is just $100. And people have called him crazy. They've called him stupid. They've called him nuts. Well, today, the high for silver today was $121. That is over $100. Let's call it $100 higher than when I first started promoting it, which I bought my first silver at $17.89. All the silver I bought, I have an average of $21 and like 40 cents, and that includes the premium. So you can guess how long ago I bought my silver, and way back there, right? And I've just been hanging on to it, just kind of a savings. But Keith Neumeyer is saying 100 or triple digit silver. And he thought that would be great. Well, we're at triple digit silver. Keith Neumeyer's predictions they're gone, right? He can relax on that. But it was for the last few years, I've listened as I've learned about the dollar, bonds, carry trade, yield curve control, everything, right? I've learned all I can. I've continued to learn as much as I can because my family has been generous enough to say, John, you seem to know a little about investing. And I'm not a certified investor. Nothing I say is investment advice. You have to do your own damn research, make your own damn decisions, and take your own damn responsibility for whether you win or lose. Okay. That being said, my family said, you're now in charge. You seem to have done pretty good. Right. I'm like, okay, then. Sure wish I had more money, but it's family money. Anyways, here we go. So a couple years ago, I ran into Michael Oliver as a speaker, and he had a different way of looking at things. And several months back, he said, that's it. It is on. It is time for silver to go triple digits and up. And he started by saying, we're going to go to 100 and then possibly to 200, 150 to 200. And about a month after that, he kept examining with his momentum structural analysis system. He said, hey, it's going to go to 200 and 300. Right? And as we've gone from September to October to November, December, January, we're at the end of January now, his predictions have steadily gotten higher. And now, as of a video that was released today, I believe he said silver by, I think, July. Don't quote me on this. Go look for Michael Oliver videos when we're done here. By end of July or by July, we'll be somewhere between $300 and $500 for silver. And that will be the huge move, the huge and very speedy move straight up. We're already parabolically going up, but that doesn't mean it's going to stop. The reason is there's a shortage, a structural mining shortage. There is a above ground supply storage shortage. There is a refinery shortage. There is a market vault shortage. There is a government vault shortage. There is a corporate industrial vault shortage. There is a massive shortage. And the reason online bullion dealers will not pay you what your silver is worth is because they don't have money. They have a liquidity problem. Normally, they buy your silver, they send a short. They short silver, and they send that to New York to protect themselves in case the price goes up or down or whatever they do. It's a way to hedge themselves. Well, in order to buy short, you now have to have, I believe, 50% margin, meaning if you want to invest $1,000 in silver on Wall Street with the COMEX, you need if you have $1,000, you need to have 1,500. So 1,000 in the exchange and 500 in cash sitting off to the side. They've made it more and more and more difficult to stay this. And now, folks, we've got some crazy business. Today, silver hit $121 an ounce. On its way, skyrocketing up. Gold hit over 5,600 last night. And then they got smashed today. Silver got knocked all the way back down to $106 and some change. Doing my math, that's $15. You're talking 12% down. In a matter of minutes, gold was tanked $450 in a matter of minutes. That's not market action. That's not people saying that's the top and we're getting out. It has nothing to do with the top. What it had to do with is margin calls. The more that goes up, the more shorts lose. And once they exceed that 50% reserve, the COMEX picks up the phone and they say, can you send more margin, more money? Because you're losing and you're losing bad. And we want our money. The COMEX exchange wants their money. They're like, you don't have any more money? We are now liquidating your assets. And they do just that. Now, I believe, and I believe this very strongly, that there was a huge hit on uranium stocks, on a lot of tech stocks. There was a huge hit as Bitcoin was dumped en masse. I think the banks dumped their speculative investments, their Bitcoin, some of their Apple, some of their Amazon, some of their Netflix, some of their Nvidia, some of their Mag 7 stuff, just to get cash to pay their losses on top of their margin call. And that's why some things went down, but gold went way down, $450 an ounce. And then silver, $15 an ounce. Well, guess what? It bounced right back up. Silver, when I last looked, was right where it was last night, at last night's close. It was like 116, 117 just a few minutes ago when I was talking to Uman. Meaning it's $4 below its all-time high at 121. And that's after taking a $15 an ounce bitch slap. Meaning the only people who got knocked out were banks and shorts. Everyone else is like, it's on sale, buy it. Same with gold. It bounced back half of its loss. So we're still up. Let's see. This week, since Monday, gold is up over $400 an ounce. Doing pretty good after 4 days of trading. But we've got tonight's Asian market and then tomorrow's American market. The banks are hurt. They're being smashed. And once they go out, once the very last of them are toast, and we don't know who's left, we don't know how much, it's going to the moon. And that's where these predictions went from saying, hey, it could be $100. And people are like, $100 silver, my ass. And then it was $200, then $300. $300 from Bank of America. $10,000 from J.P. Morgan for gold. Can silver go to 1,000? The answer is yes. There's supposed to be an announcement by Trump. Is it about gold? Are they going to revalue gold? Is it about Denmark? Greenland? Is it about China? Is it about Israel? Is it about Iran? Is it about money? Is it about war? I don't know. But there's supposed to be a literal revaluation of the gold price sometime this year. I know that July 4th is our 250th national birthday. I don't know if they want to wait that long. I don't know if Trump wants to wait that long. He may want to revalue gold. And those numbers that they've got predicting there are absolutely crazy now. So there's a lot of crazy numbers out there, in other words. Nobody knows where it's going. Nobody. Uman says, got to be careful with the Asian guy channels. There are a lot of copycat channels putting out hype and BS. Absolutely true. There's not just one channel with Asian guy. Well, there's young Asian guy with glasses. There's young Asian guy without glasses. There's older Asian guy. There's Asian guy at a desk. There's Asian girl. And I ran into white guy with Asian guy's voice. Some of them are copycats 100%. Others change things a little bit. Some are anti-gold and anti-silver. Sell, sell, sell. It's going nowhere. It's done. It's reached its top. It's all hype. So you've got to find the ones, and maybe Uman will tell you. There we go. The Boring Currency, The Gray Ledger, and War and Mystery Chronicles. War and Mystery Chronicles was the first Asian guy I found, and I subscribed to that one. I do listen to the Boring Currency and the Gray Ledger as well, and a couple others that pop up. And they have great thumbnails with exciting, splashy numbers like $1,000 silver. Right? You just gotta listen to it. Understand it's propaganda. There are facts. The best propaganda has facts. There are very accurate facts and accurate predictions, and the very best propaganda has exactly that. The best facts and the most accurate, but they'll always put their spin on it. A little information because they want you to think a certain way. Remember propaganda. This channel is propaganda. What do I want you to be propagandized with? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. The world is fucking nuts. Look around. Look around. Fucking girls are getting raped in wholesale fashion. Girls, 12, 11, 15, 8, in England, and the government doesn't care. Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, doesn't give a fuck. The Prime Minister of England doesn't give a fuck. Queer Starmer. He doesn't give a shit. Bring on more. Bring in the Pakistanis. Bring in more fucking Muslims. Bring in everybody. Oh shit, we forgot the Indians. Bring in more Indians. They don't care. They're destroying their countries, literally. In America, we're not far behind. Not far behind at all. With all of it. We need what I would call an American enema. This country needs to shit out everything that is non-essential and that is garbage, which is exactly what our colon does. Our body gathers up all the shit, turns it into a piece of shit, and we shit it out. And then you feel great. You've gotten rid of all of that dead weight, that useless material. It's called shit. And this country and England, or the UK rather, all of Europe, Australia, Canada, they need to get rid of it. Do you think Mexico wants to bring in a bunch of these people? Yeah. If diversity is our strength, let the countries that suck have all the diversity they can handle. All right. Anyways, man, great topic. Thank you very, very much. Let's continue, if we shall, with the Friday free-for-all special edition on Thursday. And it's Robin. And Robin says, if that happens with silver, we are all in big trouble. The problem is the shortage of supply, the shortage of storage, the shortage of readily available material, the shortage of short-term, medium-term, and long-term contracts. We've got mines around the world. In some cases, they've gone on strike. Mine labor, hauling labor, whatever, any labor associated with providing materials, because they see what silver is doing in value, and those people want a piece of it. They're like, hey, you're making a shit ton of money now. Where's our raise? Can't blame them for that. But yeah, if silver keeps going up, what does that mean about the dollar? Once again, the price of gold and silver going up has nothing to do with the value of the dollar, and its ability to buy you a hamburger or a gallon of milk or a gallon of gas or a loaf of bread or a dozen eggs. Gold and silver have nothing to do with any of those food products or gasoline or tires. What that has to do with is these are metals that are not money in the sense that we use them as money on the street anymore. Gold and silver are now metals that have very specific purposes that are being hoarded and demanded to be consumed by very specific industries. In the money and banking industry, it's gold. Gold is a reserve asset. It is very dense, very valuable. I can't afford to go be buying bars of gold and shit. I wish I could, but I can't. So that gold is going to banks so they can settle debts between themselves. Banks and countries, countries and banks, countries and countries, banks to banks, whatever. Silver, on the other hand, which also used to be money in the sense that it was in silver dollars, half dollars, quarters, and dimes. Silver is an industrial metal. It's a space metal. It's a medical metal. It's a weapons metal. It is an electronics metal. It is a battery metal. It is a solar energy metal. It is a water filtration metal. Did I say medical metal? It has all of these uses, and there's only, think about this in terms of ounces, okay? Somewhere between 750 and 800 million ounces worldwide, the entire planet. That's all it makes per year. And that quantity is the same or a little lower every year because the mining quality, the quality of ore coming out of the mines is going down. It's not getting better, right? They need to find new mines. But 750 ounces, 750 million ounces, sounds like a lot. Well, there's 16 ounces to a pound, and there's 2,000 pounds to a ton. So when you start talking about how many tons of silver per year is mined and available to the market, look at a calculator. Maybe Uman will do that. How many tons of silver is mined and created every year? It's not very many. when you think of tons and what is done, right? Like there's a billion fucking tons of soybeans a year. There's a billion of this and billions of that. Silver is not quite the same. Anyways, there's a problem. There's a huge problem with this silver because the military, the government can say, that's it. Everything has to go. Everything created in America has to go to our military first, and the next important thing, and then the next important thing. But America doesn't produce enough silver for itself. It has to import silver. And somewhere between 60 and 70% of the world's silver is, well, it's mined around the world, and then it's refined in China. They send crudely refined bars called doré to China, and they send silver concentrate, which is essentially the separated sludge of silver that's not even refined into a crude bar, an impure bar. They send that to China. Let them do it. About 20,000 tons. It's not a whole lot of silver when it comes right down to it. And it's being consumed. Everything in weapons is just blown up. You put silver into a battery, it's going to stay there 20 years. Put silver into a solar panel, it's going to be there 25 to 30 years. You put it into medical instruments, you put it into dental instruments, you put it into water purification systems, and it's gone forever, if not years. Your phone has a tiny amount. Your tablet, your computer, your car. There's a lot of applications where silver is absolutely necessary, yet the cost to recover it is $300, $400, $500 an ounce. It is way too expensive to try and extract. To make the cost of getting it worth it, it has to be worth a lot more. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So can silver go up to 1,000? The answer is yes. Will it? I don't know. My name is John, not John Stradamus. So I'm hoping and counting that, you know, the little bits of silver I have, that's a 1 ounce round with the Marine Corps emblem on it because I just happen to like that. I'm hoping it goes up because then maybe, just maybe, I can afford to live a little bit better. But anyways, my family, shall we say, family investment fund. I have the world's smallest hedge fund. They should be doing pretty well as well. But you know, it's and people go, well, John, shit, silver's hit $100. I'm not going to buy it at $100. You out of your fucking mind? It's $100. It's never been $100. I'm like, well, the predictions are it's going to go to $200 and $300. Some of the more mild predictions are like it'll hit $300 or $400, but not till 2027. I'm like, wait a minute, it's in 2026 right now. In 1 year, it could go up 3, 4, or 5. That's 300%, 400%, 500% from where it's at right now. If that's the case, getting that kind of return on investment in a year or two, that's worth getting into. Except now you can't even get it. Allegedly, apparently today, a major U.S. bullion dealer is basically closing their doors. That's the rumor. The person who started the rumor says, I'm not allowed to say who it is. They're going to make an announcement because they don't have the liquidity. They don't have the cash to operate. Even though they're making $20, $10 to $20 premium, meaning silver's at 120, you're going to pay 120, 135, 140 for it. They make all that money. They're like, well, the cost to replace it, Anyways, these people, they're not good business people. They don't have the operating capital. I guess they get profit and they just go blow it on, I don't know, hookers and blow. I make a little bit of money. I'd like to put it in savings and, use it to stay solvent. But there's a solvency issue. There's a solvency issue with banks. There's a solvency issue with the U.S. government. The government. In any event, it's going to be a trip. I did do a video today while I was driving around that Jolene should release tomorrow on the subject of silver and what could happen and what actions I've taken as a social media personality. I don't want to call myself an influencer. By reaching out to large, I would even say institutional size investment firms that deal with precious metals and other commodities, and telling them, get your shit together. Watch tomorrow's video. You will get something out of it. Under the influencer. That was again. Well, no alcohol for me today. No painkillers, no drugs of any sort. I've got to be off of that shit for my surgery. So everything hurts, and it hurts bad. All right, Mr. Uman, let's continue, shall we, sir? And it's Diving Frog, and he says, John, if the country were to balkanize, how do we handle interstate commerce? If silver were $300 an ounce, imagine how much shit will cost. Well, it doesn't cost $300 a barrel to get oil out of the ground. It doesn't cost $300 for a loaf of bread. You see, those items will continue to exchange at the rate they're at, regardless of what silver and gold do. Let me explain. Silver is now in a structural deficit. All above ground stockpiles have been reduced to nearly nothing, meaning it's been consumed far faster than it's mined, and it's been consumed. So that, like 5 years ago and back, there was always a little extra. So they just put it in a stockpile. There's no stockpile. The stockpiles are being chewed up. They're being put into government vaults, corporate vaults, industrial vaults. It's going away. It's going bye-bye. It's being consumed. So silver is unobtainium and unaffordium. But oil still comes out of the ground just as easy as before. We're not out of oil. We're not out of wheat for bread. We're not out of eggs from chicken, even though the government was trying to kill all the fucking chickens they could. What I told the Cubans I know is, all those illegals taste like chicken. You can eat them. Plenty of them. Go get them. Anyways, yeah. Silver can be $300 an ounce. Silver can be $3,000 an ounce. Silver has tripled in the last 4 months. Bread hasn't tripled. Gas hasn't tripled. Eggs haven't tripled. I mean, they've gone up because inflation is kind of out of control. The problem with the dollar, Mr. Diving Frog, in my opinion, and the opinion of many experts I listen to, is the problem with the dollar is the burbs, the printing press. The United States government is mishandling its fiscal responsibility, its monetary responsibility, and spending far more money than it has. So it's flooding capital into our economy. Interesting, they call it, we're making sure there's liquidity. Well, how come that liquidity hasn't hit my bank account? But it hits JP Morgan, hits Bank of America, hits Wells Fargo, hits Citi, hits Chase. See what I'm saying? They get the money, and then they decide if they're going to loan it or not. But the amount of money out there, if there's way too much cash and everyone's throwing it around, they'll buy everything. There'll be a shortage of items like eggs, bread, milk, gasoline. And then the price goes up because people are competing for the little bit that's left because everyone has tons of money. But when things flow along normally, people only buy what they need. They don't buy a ton of stuff. They don't buy it in stockpile. So that's what I see. The indicator that, I mean, silver and gold going up is an indicator that things aren't right. But I don't think that it's an indicator that the dollar is ruined. More like the world, meaning all people, all corporations, all investment firms have been pouring their money into Netflix. And pardon me if I insult anybody, into Nvidia, into Tesla, into Apple. These are the Mag 7. They've produced huge returns, making tons of money, these stocks. They poured money into all their little corporations, right? McDonald's, John Deere, Caterpillar Tractor, Coca-Cola, Westinghouse, General Electric, Ford, GM, right? All of these standard stocks, they're just pouring money into them. And the values go up. I think everybody forgot to pour money into discovering new mines for steel, magnesium, copper, zinc, lead, nickel, cadmium, uranium, gold, silver, right? Everything in the ground, everyone's just ignored. Now we don't have enough. Right? Now, to give you an idea, and this is kind of Michael Oliver's thing, he said lead was held at a very low level for a long time, and then all of a sudden, in a 3-month period, it went up 3, 4, 5 times. Copper, for decades, sat on its hands, didn't do a fucking thing. Then all of a sudden, back in 2006, it, in just a few months, 3 months, 4 months, went up 3, 4, 5 times in value and stayed at its new high. Silver has been being held under $50 since 1980. Who knew? Right? It took another 40 fucking years, 45 years to break the $50 market. That's why Michael Oliver, looking at everything, all his metrics, says silver in the next 3, 4 months could go 3, 4, 5 times higher than it is right now. That puts silver at 300, 400, 500. And some people are saying 1,000 because we don't know. We don't know where the top is. But we do know there's a shortage. It's going to be crazy, folks. But what you need to know is that there are other precious metals as well. It's called copper, brass, lead, and cold blue steel. Be prepared with everything else first. Don't go running and trying to invest your money and make a couple $1,000s in profit. Make sure you've got lots of food, the ability to clean and purify your water, make it potable, drinkable. Food, water, shelter. Is your house safe? Can you do something to help secure it against crime? Right? Clothing. Do you have good clothing? There are people right now very cold, freezing, not doing well. Proper clothing is important in the winter especially, but also in the summer. There's a big difference in a lot of regions between daytime temps and nighttime temps. Right? It feels fine during the day, but at night you will die from exposure. Right? And then medicine. Do you have the medicines you need for the common cold, as a pain reliever, as a sterilizer, a cleaner? Do you have medications? Do you have bandages? Do you have the ability, right? Do you have antibiotics? All these things you can look for at the preparedmind.club, C-L-U-B, the preparedmind.club. You can go there and shop around. It'll take you to other people's websites. You just search by topic, and you'll see what me and Uman and Jolene and others have said. Well, try this one. Look at this one, right? Looking for the best deals, knowing not everyone's made out of money, made out of gold. But, you need to make sure you're prepared. And, of course, self-defense items. If you don't like guns, you can get pepper ball guns. You can get chemical sprays and agents. You can get tasers. Just protect yourselves. That's all. Mr. Uman, where shall we roll next? Robin said, my understanding is that billionaires are turning to precious metals because the economy is unstable. That is correct. Japan is in big debt crisis and people are looking for financial exit ramps. Robin is 100% correct. Gold has been going up. Now, in just the last year, it's doubled. I mean, people were buying gold at, $2,500 and they thought it was high. It's more than doubled that now. $2,000. I know people that bought it at $1,800, $1,700. People that bought it at $1,200. But their money is secure. Gold, going into gold stocks, gold mining stocks, or COMEX gold is where a lot of people go because they want to be able to sell it as quick as they could buy it. They don't want to have to take gold bars into possession and put them in a vault or bury them in the ground with a wooden chest and, put a skull and crossbones over it so no one touches it. No, put an X marks the spot. No, a lot of people don't want to do that. Us little people, I can't afford a contract for 1,000 ounces of silver. That is now $125,000 for one of those. I don't have that kind of fucking cash, right? But I can buy 1 ounce. I can buy 1 round, and I can sell 1 round or trade 1 round, or I can preserve it and hold it. The wealthy people, folks, millionaires and billionaires, are buying gold from Andy Sheckman. They're buying gold from JM Bullion, They're buying gold from SD Bullion. They're buying gold from Money Metals. They're buying it from goldmoney.com. They're buying it from all of these companies if they can get it. If you can get it. Even Costco, and everyone knows Costco. Sorry, man, I got to say this. Costco. I was a Costco member once. You go into Costco, you can go buy gold and silver. Well, until last month when the shortage really hit, and now Costco gets a load in, and it's gone in hours. It's not days anymore. It's just hours. Because people are wanting to buy gold bars and silver bars in smaller size, smaller denomination, if you will. 1 ounce, 10 ounce, 5 ounce, and take it home. Put it in their safes and preserve their wealth. Because there is a debt crisis. There is a currency crisis. There is an economic concern out there that's growing. I remember sometime in the middle of 2024 or the end of 2024, Andy Schechtman of Miles Franklin, another bullion distributor, he got a call from some lady. It was like a whale. It was a $50 million purchase. There's a guy named Bateman who, is it 6 or 8 months ago? I think David Bateman is his name. And he's on X, Twitter. He bought close to $1 billion worth of physical silver bars in one shot. Pow. And then he took a picture of it when it showed up on pallets at his vault/warehouse. And he's bought a lot more since then. I think Josh Philip Fair, who is Scottsdale Refinery and Mint in Arizona, he's been doing a lot of work letting people know it's in shortage. What it is, in other words, is people buy gold and silver because of a lack of confidence in the dollar. It doesn't mean the world's going to end. It just means there's a lack of confidence in the dollar. There's a lot of movement in gold and silver, so people want to ride the wave up. There's a lot of different reasons to be in gold and silver. To hold it long term, to preserve and protect yourself against a bank shutdown, right? When the bank shuts down, they lock the doors. They take all of your money, and it's not yours anymore. They go through the safety deposit boxes, and they're not yours anymore. Everything you give a bank these days is considered an unsecured loan, meaning you can't file a grievance. You can't sue them in court to get your money back. You are the last person as a depositor. You are a lender of last resort to be paid back. The bank will pay all its other debts, and it's called a bail-in. Banks will use your money to pay their debts, and then they're out of business. They're out of money. And if there's any money left after they've gone belly up, bankrupt, they've got 10,000 customers, and they've got $10,000 left after paying all their other bills. And so everyone gets $1. You had $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, and you get $1 back. The FDIC insurance, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. You're guaranteed up to $100,000 in insurance per account. Except they only have in the FDIC fund enough cash to pay federal deposit insurance for about 1% of the amount of money on deposit. Now, back in the 30s, banks went busted. We had the Great Depression. Banks went out of business. Banks made bad loans. Banks speculated on Wall Street. Banks got fucked. They screwed their customers in order to get people to put money back into banks, and they didn't want to. The federal government said, we'll insure it. FDIC. And some people are like, okay, as long as it's insured, I don't want to lose my money again. Right? My family back then, they got fucking soaked. Family fortune lost. My family was very wealthy. Thousands and thousands of acres of land, cattle ranches. My grandfather had airplanes. lost, gone forever. Gone forever. Because banks failed. Economy collapsed. Not a good scene. Not a good scene at all. Okay, let us continue. I'm ribs hurt, but I'm doing okay. Let us continue. Diving Frost said, John, do you think the government would announce fake deposits of silver to short the price? Oh, I see what you're saying. The government could say, hey, we've got a bunch of silver right over there in that mountain. It's right next to Battle Mountain. It's right next to Newmont Gold and Barrick Gold. Right in Nevada, we found a big old one. It's right there next to the Comstock. They could try that to get people to go, the silver crisis is over and the price will come down. No. The reason is well, first you have to find the silver. Then it takes months and even years to build roads, go in, drill the land, find out how much is really there. How much? Then you have to do all the environmental studies. You have to go to all the local people. You have to do public talking. You have to figure out if they can do this. Is it environmentally sound? All these fucking reports can take years and years to do. And then on top of that, now this mine has to get funding. Who's going to give this mining company that claims they've got all this silver? Who's going to invest in it? I'm sure people would invest in it, of course, but they've got to raise all that money. And it's not just a little bit of money, folks. It's billions of dollars to open a mine. Why? Well, all these studies, all of this work and pre-work, and who owns the property, they're going to want some money too. And then, of course, there's lawyers. Yes, the fucking lawyers. They want their money too. And they'll get into lawsuits and fight over it. Who had it, who lied about it. They're going to sue the fucking drill companies. They're going to sue the former owner. They'll sue the new owner. The fucking shysters will get on there ASAP and get their cut. The government's going to want all its permit fees now. All those motherfuckers have been satisfied. Show us the silver. Show me the money. Nope, sorry. But the mine has been found and explored and proven, and the lawsuits are over. Okay, and now we raised all this money. Great. Now you can go buy, at this point, the buildings, the roads, power lines, water, the infrastructure, setting up accounts with companies to bring in ore processing equipment or separating equipment. You've got to buy the mining trucks, the shovels. You've got to hire employees, explosives experts, equipment drivers, and it's very special equipment. Driving those haul trucks, the fucking haul trucks that are big as like a 3-story house. You can't just let anyone drive those fucking things. If you just turn the steering wheel, you'll rip the tires right off the rims. They weigh that much. You've got to have training, people to be trained all across the board, from the explosives people, the drillers, the equipment runs, the haul truck drivers, the milling equipment operators. You've got to have office personnel. You've got to have insurance, workman's comp. You've got to have all this operating capital. And then after all of that, after everyone's trained, now you get to pull the ore out of the ground and start grinding it up in the process. 10 years. Now you've made your first 1 million ounces. And that, if you can, 1 million ounce mine is a big mine per year, folks. It's a big fucking mine. Guess what that is? That's 0.01. No, it's 0.15% of the total mining supply of the world. You've got to go through all that to get 0.15. Remember, the world produces 800 million ounces a year. And you're going to produce 1 million. Remember, 1 million ounces is only 1% of 100 million, but you got 800 million to meet. And you're going to produce a whole million? That ain't much. Not much at all. Not much of a fucking dent. Okay, Mr. Uman, I got you. So the SHTF problem is all over the place. It really is. It's all over the place. It has hit the fan. Get prepared, folks, in every way you can. If you got any money left, you might want to look into buying some gold and silver at this point, if you can get it. I was telling people to buy silver when it was under $20 an ounce. Those fucking days are over. If you're lucky, you can get it for $135 an ounce. If you can get it. Don't let ammunition be the same issue. When all the shooting starts, that'll be an issue. When the riot starts, you won't be able to get food. Everything you need ahead of time, that's called being prepared. And chance favors the prepared mind. I'll see you guys hopefully Sunday night. If I get out of surgery, I'm feeling good. I know I'll be there. I'll send a message out through Ooman, through Jolene, and I'll make posts on YouTube and X. You guys be cool. I love you all. Appreciate the prayers and the well wishes, and I'll be back on the flip side of this. Get prepared now.